It's been so hot, wouldn't you guys agree? My goodness. So I really needed to make something that was nice and cool for this hot weather. And so this slip dress is so pretty and so awesome. I love it, and I think you'll love it too. So just stick with me and see how I did it. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am so glad that you stopped by. Today, I invite you to watch me sew this beautiful slip dress with this gorgeous silk fabric. Slip dresses are trendy right now, but they have been around since the early 1900s. And I love that this style of dress keeps coming back again and again. So I'm going to talk some more about slip dresses, but first, let's make sure we have all of our tools and supplies to make this beautiful dress. We're going to need paper scissors and fabric scissors. We'll also need a needle wheel. I'm going to need my rotary cutter and dotted pattern paper. I'm also going to need the hardware for the straps, and since I'm using silk fabric, I'm going to need silk thread. And lastly, I'm going to need my skirt sloper. Okay, so to start, I'm going to go ahead and use my skirt sloper to create a usable pattern. And if you don't have a skirt sloper, check out this tutorial if you want to know how to create your own skirt sloper. I'm going to start by tracing my front and back skirt sloper onto my dotted paper and adding my 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. So as you can see, I want my skirt to be high-waisted. And to do that, I'm going to add about 3 inches to lengthen the waist. So to do that, I'm going to remove my tape and measure up 3 inches on my dotted paper, so I can just go ahead and just slide my skirt sloper up 3 inches, and making sure that I continue to add my 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around. I want to make sure that I curve my waist. This is going to be important because I have to make sure that I put my darts in. I also want to make sure that I add all of my markings, my hip line, my waistline, and my darts. Now, I want my slip dress to be as seamless as possible, so I'm going to go ahead and close up my darts. And then I'll retrace my waistline and my hip curve. I'm going to do the same thing to both the skirt front and the skirt back sloper. Notice that I've marked my waistline and my hip line. I'm going to use those lines to match them up to make sure that I know my skirt is even. You know, so many iconic designers have done slip dresses, from Dior to Calvin Klein to Versace. Well, because they are so gorgeous and sexy, and they can be done in so many different styles and lengths. I decided on a midi to long length that falls just above my ankle. So I've added the 3 inches above my waist. Here's my waistline. And to get this nice sleek midi look, I need to add more pattern paper. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the length from my waist down to my ankle to see how long I need to make my midi. So I'm measuring from my waist. Okay, so from here all the way down to the hem of my skirt, I am going to get 31 inches. I like this look because I find it to be so comfortable, not to mention with a long length like that, I can wear it to weddings, garden parties, or any place where I want to look special. Okay guys, so here comes the fun part. I decided that I wanted to have ruching on the front of my skirt, so I need to work with the full skirt front to get that effect. So I'm going to use my needle wheel to trace my pattern and all of my markings onto the folded piece of my dotted pattern paper. Now I have a whole skirt front to work with. In order to get the ruching effect, I need to slash and spread my pattern. I need to open up my slashes and tape them onto a new piece of pattern paper. As you notice, I did use a lot of pattern paper for this, but I know that it's going to be worth it. Now, before I lay my pattern on my fashion fabric, I need to true my side seams back together. So I'm going to use my needle wheel to trace my cutting line. Slip dresses are normally cut on a 45-degree angle, so it's cut on the bias. So I need to make a new grain line at 45 degrees. I love the feel of a bias cut dress. It falls so beautifully over your body and like hugs all those curves. It makes you look good and feel good. Vera Wang said, "I want people to see the dress, but focus on the woman." After I cut out my front skirt, I'll fold my fabric at a 45-degree angle and lay my back skirt on the fold. You know, you waste a lot of fabric when you make a bias cut dress, but that's the beauty of it. That's why bias cut dresses are more expensive. Even though I took accurate measurements, I always want to try things on first. Okay everyone, now before I move on to the bodice, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you can be reminded every time I make a video. So now let's move on to the bodice. Okay, so now this is my back bodice. So the back bodice, and I'm going to attach my straps, my spaghetti straps here. This is my sleeve. So this is my back bodice, and this is my front bodice. Okay, and remember I have this is how my front bodice is going to, you see the stretch, the bias stretch, so that's where I'm going to attach my spaghetti straps here. But now what I'm going to do is go ahead and attach my front bodice to the back bodice at the side seams, right sides to right sides. My tension is normal and my stitch length is slightly longer at 3.4. Now I'm going to use a seam width of 1/4 inch. The next step is to create the binding that goes across the back, forms the armholes, and forms the straps. So first I'm going to create a binding to go across the back. To do that, I'm going to cut a strip that is about 1.5 inches wide. Next, I'm going to finish the raw edges of the cowl front and then attach it at the sides. Now I'm going to create my armhole binding, starting at the back and making it long enough to become my straps. My straps are going to be just wide enough to slip onto the hardware. I need to determine if I am going to use the hook or the circle. Attaching the slide is very simple. First, put the slide on the strap. In my case, I'm going to use the hook. I've chosen the hook. So I slide the hook on, then thread the end of the strap to the bar of the slide, and then sew it closed. The hem is done by serging the edges. The dress is already cut on a bias, so it has a little stretch to it. So now I need to hold the hem firmly while I serge, and that will create a beautiful flared hem. And that's it. My dress is done. Now I can enjoy a nice hot evening on the docks or at an afternoon wedding, staying cool in my beautiful slip dress, all while staying on trend. So I really hope that you found this fun and interesting and like watching how I created this beautiful slip dress that is timeless and effortless. I really hope that you come back again and watch me do some more. Thanks so much for watching.